Yo, 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 welcome back to the MMA Short Show. Is always your boy, Stephen Moustaris, or as some of you like to say, the moose or the beard or whatever. Guys, I love the comments. I think that stuff's hilarious. So seriously, keep them coming for real. I think I really enjoy them. And, even more so, I really enjoy everybody who, commented or whatever, reached out to me and everything about the Tom Aspinall video. It was really nice, chopping up with you guys. Is the whole reason I do this thing. And, it kind of goes into my whole thing now. I could be completely wrong here. I am totally willing to be wrong. I might be a hater right now, but I don't feel like it. Just if I'm looking at it a completely, non-biased, viewpoint, kind of feels like UFC 291 is not as stacked as the UFC is kind of promoting it to be right now. And, especially with a Bud Crawford versus Spence fight night, Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz, like, it's kind of one of them nights where the UFC should really, take advantage and really stack a card and really show their dominance. And, at the end of the day, if I'm really sitting here pointing out this card, then I should be pointing out the Spence Crawford undercard, and I should be pointing out the Nate Diaz and Jake Paul undercard because they're way worse than the UFC's. But, if we're being honest here, UFC fans, we've been getting spoiled, man. The double championship nights. The third feature fight's been fire usually. The first or the main event and the prelims have been pretty fire. Like, well, honestly, we've been getting lucky as fans. Like, especially if you guys were watching, early 2000s, even earlier, or mid to late 2000s, or even the early 2010s. Like, we'd get one really, really big fight for the main event, and then the rest of them, if you weren't watching it, you wouldn't know any of the fighters yet. So it's been pretty cool to see how evolved this game's getting. But this kind of gets to my point. Like, as much as I love Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje, and as much as I respect them, and as much as, they're some of my favorite fighters ever, we do have to be honest here, man. These guys aren't really championship caliber fighters anymore. Like, if we're truly being honest, we saw them get, kind of dominated by Khabib. We've seen them get beat by other people. They'd probably lose to Islam. You know what I'm saying? It's just not, we've seen Charles Oliveira take them out. Like, it's just the point where I'm just, if we're being honest here as fans, they're just not the championship caliber that they were anymore. And, I've been very vocal how much I hate the BMF belt. I think it's so gimmicky. I feel like it's WWE written all over it. And, it's just sad, but like, because this fight doesn't need that to even sell. But, we don't even have a championship caliber fight on this card. And as much, like I said, as much as I love DP and Justin Gaethje and as great of a fight it's going to be, it's not really a title fight. And then we get Jan Blachowicz and Alex Pereira. Like, if we're being real here, Alex Pereira, if it wasn't for Izzy, I think right now he might be getting on a co-main event spot of, a fight night. Like, maybe because he would probably get some knockouts and everything, but I don't think we'd be hyping him up as much, clearly, because he wouldn't have the Izzy fights to be pushing him through. It's like his fifth or sixth fight in the UFC. Jan Blachowicz is like 40 years old. Like, as much as he could just dominate and take down Alex Pereira, like, I think he might be a little slower, and I think Alex Pereira being in his weight class, like, I don't know. I just don't. It's not one of those fights that I'm that excited over. I know Alex Pereira's, talent and skill and power and everything could end his night, and it could be cool. But, I'm just not really, like, going after that fight too much. Like, it's not like we're watching Johnny Walker, a young, like, crazy guy going after an Alex Pereira. Like, that would be a banger. Or even like a Yuri Prochazka or any of these guys that would, younger dudes that would fight a better fight with Alex Pereira. And then Wonderboy, as much as I love Wonderboy and I'm a technical fighter, I love that. That's my favorite thing, especially as a kickboxer, I think he, like, his karate style, his everything, his kickboxing style, he's phenomenal. And of course, we're putting him up against Michel Pereira. Like, that could be perfect for him, where, Michel, like, his awkward style is probably the only chance he'll have to hit Wonderboy. But, like, Wonderboy doesn't deserve to fight a Michel Pereira. Like, this fight would be, Wonderboy, it would be perfect to see him fight anybody else but Michel Pereira. Like, I don't think it's going to be a close one. I don't think Michel's going to touch him very much. I could be wrong. Could be terrible. We got Tony Ferguson on, like, a 12-fight losing streak against, another, like, 40-year-old Bobby Green. Like, this fight is going to be fun, and we all know him. But, like, is it that fun? Really? Like, do we want to watch Tony Ferguson get beat again? And even if he does get a win, it's like, okay, you beat a 40-year-old Bobby Green who only boxes. Like, I'm not trying to be rude here. I love both of them. I'm just saying, if we're being real, Michael Chiesa, who hasn't won since 2021, against Kevin Holland, who I think everybody loves Kevin Holland, but, like, I don't know. This fight just, it's cool. This fight, I would say this fight's pretty awesome for any fight card, but still, Michael Chiesa hasn't won since 2021. So if Kevin Holland beats him, it's like, what are we going to do with Chiesa now? He was such a high prospect there for a while, and then now it's like, it's tough. Like, how can we even root for you, And then what we got the Bonfim, one of the Bonfim brothers. I think he's a fucking dog. That's going to be cool, but still, not many people know him. So if we're looking, as casual and stuff, like people aren't going to know him. Not to mention we're in Salt Lake City too, so like I mean we're already way above sea level as it is, so these guys are gonna get gas. So like a fight like Derrick Lewis and Marcos Rogerio de Lima, like that fight might not be fun at all if this thing goes past 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and no offense to either of those guys. I mean, De Lima, not the great. Like, he's got power and stuff, and he has finished the lower class of heavyweight division, and that was a big thing I talked about in this Tom Aspinall video. Like, it's really easy to look good in the heavyweight division currently, especially at that lower half of it, where it's just, man, like, I mean, you guys saw Marcin Tibera in that fight with Tom Aspinall. He had no business being in with anybody that high level. So, and Derrick Lewis is old. He's long in the tooth. The man has gotten so much money. He's done everything he possibly could. He's had his chances for the belt and everything, just, never was able to get it. So I don't think he thinks he's going to get there again. So this fight, really, what's it got left for him? And, not to be mean here, but Derrick Lewis has been really hard to watch the last couple of years. Like, you can tell he just doesn't have that dogfight in him, or willingness to have a dogfight in him anymore, which you can't blame him, because what's this win going to do for you? Get you another fight with, a Marcin Tibera coming off a loss? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to get in that top 5 ever again. And, I mean, I could be wrong. He could literally prove me wrong, but I'm telling you guys, I would bet money. He might retire after another loss. Who knows? But, I don't want to see him lose again, but he does seem to take the easy way out. If he gets hit, he starts to look like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to get out of here. I took my licks. I got my money. So, I think Jake Matthews is on the card. There are some fun ones, but, for the most part, it's going to be a tough one to really enjoy. Hopefully the fights are phenomenal. Like, you never know the outcomes or what's going to be the cool part. But I'm just saying, I think they even said, I think I saw something where I think this is the most amount of fights inside the UFC octagon, and like added up between every fighter, like the most between all the fighters on there. I think because you got Dustin Poirier's fought 20 something times in the UFC. Tony Ferguson's fought, I think, 20 sometimes UFC. Bobby Green's fought 20 sometimes UFC. You have all these other guys, Jan Blachowicz, all these other guys like 15, 11, something. So it's a lot of older guys that we know, but it's also, a lot of older guys that are, not necessarily in their prime anymore. So, I don't want to talk too much shit, but it just seems like the UFC is just kind of really hyping this card for no reason once you really look at it. So you guys let me know if I'm a hater or whatever, but as always, your boy, Stephen Moustaris, and let's go, baby. Let's go.